It's not anything to be ashamed of to say, well, it kind of looks like that structure's worked quite well for the entire duration of mankind, and so maybe we mess with it at our peril.
You're hearing about family values from the childless and unmarried. Don't follow them.
The women have to stop blaming men for their sense of malaise or misery.
I didn't create you people to kill and torture and rape each other. I created you to be good to each other. I love the God who had a flood.
This video is being made in response to one that was made by my friend Sefa. And Sefa recently did her own video on fat acceptance and the story of Cupid and Psyche. Now, I loved the aspect of that story. I loved how she brought it together about, Psyche was looked upon but never loved. And that's a good perspective to have it on. That's a good way to look at it. But I'm going to bring the discussion to fat acceptance or body acceptance and temple worship, which is interesting because in my faith in particular, we still worship in temples. We have these buildings that are not open to the general public. They're not made available to everyone, not even in the faith. Being a member of the faith alone is not sufficient to be worthy to be in the temple. There are requirements. There are standards that even among the church members we have to live by to go into the temple. Now, as it says in Scripture, the body is a temple, and that's an apt description. I find it very apt because there's not only a spiritual lesson there, there's a carnal one. There's a very deliberate carnal lesson in this about, body acceptance and accepting the body as a temple. Because even culturally, let me tell you something about my faith. The temple serves a purpose. The temple serves as a way for you to draw closer to God, as a way to strengthen that relationship. It's also a way to perform His services and to do His will within the walls of the temple. Now, as a general rule, it's very funny because those who are worthy to enter the temple don't generally worry about its architecture. Someone who's worthy to enter the temple are not the kinds of people that you will see walking around it, admiring the architecture, looking at the different symbols, looking at the spires, and these buildings are beautiful. These buildings are magnificent. There is a lot to be impressed by when you are observing a temple. But it's always funny to me. It is particularly interesting to me that even culturally, as a people, those of my faith who can serve in the temple are not the ones worried about how it looks on the outside at all. Like it's not even remotely interested. To us, the temple has a much higher purpose and meaning. And of course, there's a carnal lesson here, and the carnal lesson is those who are worthy to enter the temple don't worry about the architecture. Those who are concerned with the architecture generally are not worthy to enter the temple. So, and that's kind of the difference between, because the fat acceptance movement is not a movement based on purpose. It's not a movement based on value. There's no value in the fat acceptance movement. They simply want to be, as Sefa described, what Psyche was, something that was admired but never loved. What's the point in that? Well, what is the actual point of simply being admired? What is the point of trying to transform yourself into an object purely of lust with no value or purpose? Psyche wanted to be like her sisters. Psyche wanted to be in a happy marriage and in a happy life and in a fulfilling relationship. That's why her story was tragic at the beginning. There was no meaning or value to her position as simply an object of adoration, or something that was just good to look upon. And, you know, I just had to throw my 2 cents in, because not many people are aware that there is a practical application to understanding that not only is your body a temple, but that temple needs to be utilized and treasured for what it is. And that's it. That's mainly what I got. And I hope that you take that to heart. I really hope that men and women take such things about themselves seriously. Your body is a temple. It has a function. It has a purpose. And the purpose needs to be respected as much as the shape and the form of it. Now, there's a lot to admire about the tabernacles and the temples of men and women. There's lots to admire. But the purpose is what's important, not just the aesthetics.